So today, DSP and Studying Craig had their talk, their interview, their conversation, right? You know, it was very different than, let's say, like Kino Casino, Keemstar, and obviously No from Kiwi Farm, right? It's a very different conversation with very much a different form of dialogue, right? Now, why is that? To get to the point, it was more or less just two boomers like fighting it out. That's really what it was. It was just two boomers who've been on the internet for like what 20 years of their life. Both of them are at least near their 40s and 50. Even though Craig looks a lot younger. Craig has great genes, right? Let's I'm gonna admit that Craig is looks a lot younger, even though he's like close to 50. But that really isn't the point. My point is that it was just two boomers fighting over dumb internet drama, and the case can be made that like, well, Phil lies about everything, which is true. I'm not gonna deny that Phil had lied about a lot of things, but it isn't, doesn't help that Craig probably kept fanning the flames a lot of the time, right? And throughout this whole conversation, I just kind of wanted them to like just shut up about the whole WWE things, about the past, and just like it's just like just stop fighting. Like you both are like almost in your 40s and 50s having online internet drama. And I know I shouldn't be saying much because like that's really my bread and butter, right? Covering internet drama, covering that, and yeah, it's true. But it's a point where like you guys are rehashing the same stuff that has not changed. Like, all right, a lot of this happened almost a year ago, right? And I'm still just like, dude, get enough. Like, can you both talk about something different? And the part of me felt like, all right, maybe if things were just slightly different, right? Maybe if Phil just man up and admit his fault, and Craig just apologize, right? Then maybe we'll get somewhere, right? Because I kind of do. I am slightly liking Craig more and more time passes on, but at the same time, I'm also reminded why I didn't really like Craig a lot. When I was first watching Screw Attack, so which is like this pettiness from like DSP versus his aggressiveness, need to be in control, almost like egotistic of Craig. And Craig get the low count. Don't not think Craig is that one. Craig is 100% a low count. You can look up a lot of dirt about Craig and his, the original involvement with Screw Attack and all that, right? There's just a lot of dirt behind him. So Craig is not a saint compared to DSP, right? If anything, in some regard, Craig had done some things that were worse than DSP, but really, that isn't the point. Maybe it is kind of the point because, like, this whole conversation was just like a man child fighting another man child about shit that really doesn't matter too much in the long scheme of things, all right. And they brought up the thing about Keemstar, and it was like, okay, whatever, right? And even DSP brought up his conversation with Kino Casino, with Null, with Keemstar, all these people, right? And to me, it's just like Craig, just apologize, even if you have to like, even if you're faking it, just like to keep this stuff from keep happening, right? Because I think a part of me thinks that Phil probably wanted them to be kind of like buddies, right? Maybe collab with more. But at the same time, you can't deny that, like, all right, if you're gonna, talk bad about somebody right after an interview, it's like that doesn't really look good on you. And the whole thing about Craig wanting to donate money, like, he should have said like, oh Phil, well, I'll just use the money that I got from the detractors and I'm putting it into like a charity. I'm just like that doesn't. It's like a weird way of gaslighting. That's kind of a form of gaslighting. It's like, well, I'm gonna use this money that your haters give me, but what, to make you feel better, I'm using it for charity. I'm like, that's a little scummy in some regard. That's very scummy. You see a lot of people do that as a way to look good, and don't buy that. Like, even if he does give the money to charity, even if he gets a receipt, don't buy it because it's not out of genuine care, right? I think I will do a small bit of video on that. How I think that's disgusting because you don't care about the charity. You're just doing it to make your opposition look bad and to make yourself look good. It's a form of a soft gaslighting, and I think DSP did the right thing by not accepting it. Now, obviously, there were things that I just didn't like about DSP throughout the interview. I was like, dude, it's just like, don't ask him to apologize. Just man up, both of you, and just accept you done something. Obviously, some of it is on film, right? I'm not protecting Phil. Phil did some dumb things, and Craig is just like harping on the same thing over and over and over. Even if he lied, who cares? Big whoop, dude. Like, oh, well, he lied about like, And before this, right before the recording, I was watching a YouTuber named by Arjun, and he was he did a live stream about DSP and lying about money, and he made a point is like, why tell the truth when you don't have to? Why lie when you don't need to? Right? Those kind of things. It's like, and with this, that's what it reminds me of. And I was watching the live stream early in the morning, right? Because I had off today, so I took this opportunity to really like get into it. And it was just, again, as I said before, I was just getting annoyed. I was getting annoyed. There's just two boomers fighting, and it was funny watching like the detractor community on X just like champion Craig, and I'm like, you guys don't care at all, right? They don't really care if Craig wins, right? All they care about is DSP losing. And in the end, it's basically picking your favorite boomer to win. It's not that special y'all thing. In the end, they both sort of just man up, accepted the fault, accepted the lies, and just apologize. I don't really care if Craig gets back onto the show. I don't think he will, because in the end of the show, DSP more or less cuss him out and tell him like, yeah, I'm not going on that show. Like, why would I? Or I don't want you to be on the show. And then right after that, or funny enough, Craig had a live stream right after that. And it's like, aren't you supposed to be doing something with your life? Aren't you supposed to have kids? Like, why are you? I guess to him, like, he wants the last word in. He wants, like, okay, cool. And in the end, I kind of felt like this was how it was going to end, right? Like, I think some people are going to criticize Phil for that. Some people are going to applaud Craig. In the end, it's just two boomers fighting, guys. It's two idiot boomers who have done some questionable things, that have done some bad stuff, and who have both lied about things. And I guess in a funny way, I guess they're like made for each other. Like, it's funny enough, but I think Craig and DSP are kind of more or less alike. It's that Craig is a lot more successful as a person. But maybe that's just me being like nice. Maybe that's me being tired. But yeah, that's my take on it. It's just two boomers fighting over dumb stuff that could have easily just hashed it out within the first couple minutes and then just walked away. And DSP could have just like, whatever. Who cares? Have a good one. God bless. Sub, follow for the slop.